Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to this special edition of the Mass Daily Community Huddle, sending peace and love around the world. Say salam, where you're from, and we will begin in either 5 minutes or if the number of attendees reaches a specific amount. The score is tied 3-3. Salams, where you from? I was going to tell you guys a joke, but maybe later. Lubna says, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nurin, welcome back, Nurin. Wa alaikum assalam. Faziha in Trinidad, wa alaikum assalam, Faziha. Nasiha from Kampala. Where's Kampala? I don't know Kampala. Lubna is in Toronto. Shazard, wa alaikum assalam. Sahra in Minnesota. Farzana in London. Patricia, welcome back. Patricia, welcome back. Yasma, alaikum assalam. Rubina, welcome back. Yasmina from Bosnia, wa alaikum assalam. Oyin Damola, wa alaikum assalam. From Ghana, somebody else from Ghana, I missed the name. We've got Sidu, Mr. Altaf in Northern Virginia with the fam, wa alaikum assalam. Salam to the fam. Isra, wa alaikum assalam. Maryam with the kids, Hamza, Asya, Bilqis, and Juju. Kampala is in Uganda. Okay. Abdullahi from Dar es Salaam. Oh, we got an interesting group tonight. Inshallah. We got Ghana, we got Dar es Salaam. We got Uganda. Khadija in India. Yasmina in Ottawa. Walaikum assalam. We either hit a certain number or at the top of the hour we begin. Who wants to throw out their questions from now? Yesterday we were talking about forgive and forget. And people are saying things like, what if it's your family members? What if you want to distance yourself from them? Stuff like that. Salam from KSA. Muhammad, alaikum assalam. Oyin Damola, I pronounced my name correctly. That was a fluke. Iram Shaukat, alaikum assalam. Fartoon in Nairobi. Oh yeah. Karima, it's almost Maghrib here in London. Then go pray. What are you doing here? Get off the internet. Jay in Chi-Town, new gamer chair to listen to you. Nice. Man, I have a PlayStation and I haven't taken it out of the box for like 2.5 years. I need to take it out. Aram says, Jazakallah khairan for being with us every day. Alhamdulillah, we're enjoying and learning every day with you people. Let me see what that says. People from Delaware. Yes, Delaware, that little state between Maryland and New York. Ruqayya in Nigeria. Alaikum assalam. 2 minutes to go. Share it. Watch party. Let's get this going, people. Can we hit the number first or the top of the hour first? The score is 3-3. Ruqayya Masaga. Alaikum assalam. Oh, I think we're going to hit the number. Are we going to hit the number first or top of the hour first? Oh, we went down by 1. Fem Coaching. Wa alaikum assalam. Fem Coaching. Okay, our first question. Listen, guys, while I'm answering questions, you will be asking questions and it will... You know what? Let me get it out here. That's right. Good point. I can put it on another screen. If I do that, I can see questions even if I miss it. Our number has gone down. Usually it doesn't go up after it goes down. So top of the hour then. Where's my page? How to forget one whom you love and how to forgive that person. How to forget them. Aisha Mirza in Sri Lanka, Aisha Arif in California, alaikum assalam. We got Mary Iqbal, alaikum assalam. Trying to open a double thing here so that I can double open. We will get started at the top of the hour. We will start at the top of the hour. Question and answers, forgive and forget. forgive and forget. Does anybody get offended when I say and forget? When I say forget, does that offend you? Why does it offend you? Farzana says, what if you don't feel like doing anything? I'm trying to open up a second screen on my Facebook, but it's not allowing it. Facebook's like just scrolling. Anyways, the time has begun. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala amma ba'd. Good morning, Vietnam! We have begun. Yesterday we were doing a session, our community huddle, and we were speaking about forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I was talking about forgiveness from Allah, but the issue of forgive and forget came up. Somebody started off by saying, I forgive, but I'll never forget. And I said, that's a dumb attitude. I said, that's a dumb attitude because you're basically telling the person, hey, I forgive you, so all the guilt, and so you can live your life and enjoy it, but I'll never forget. I will suffer the pain for the rest of my life. And that's why I said it's a dumb attitude. Why would you do that? At least, forgive yourself, let it go. I'm trying to actually open up my Facebook on another screen so that I can see your questions properly. But it is not opening, and I'm trying again, and it's still not doing it. Okay, so today, inshallah ta'ala, there was a lot of questions related to that, and I decided that it would be nice to have a session dedicated to question and answer where you could ask these questions directly. So let's start off. And so I don't necessarily see all the questions scrolling, and after a certain number of comments, Facebook doesn't even allow me to scroll up. So if you find that I'm coming to the end of a question, then post your question again. Like when you post, copy paste it so you can post it again. Of course, at the end, somebody's going to say, I posted how many times and you didn't answer my question. Boo-hoo, bama. Forgive and forget. Okay, so let's start off with this one. Bushra Beg. First question is, if you forgive someone and again that person does something, what do you do? So I think that we have to first clarify what kind of mistakes a person does. Because, you know what, there could be a mistake like, hey, I told my brother or my sister to clean their room and they didn't clean it, and now I'm really mad. I forgave them once, they didn't clean their room, but now I'm just like, it's gone too far. It's time to... and then there's another case, which is, and I'm actually looking at this, what if there is like forgiving somebody who murdered a family member of yours? How about forgiving, I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I'm just saying, what about those situations? What if it's a situation like somebody dear to you committed zina or something like that? There's some serious type of forgiveness. So that's why it might be a little bit different, the answers. So you might have something in your mind. I'm talking about forgiveness, and you're like, wait a second, this person murdered a family member of mine. So please take it with a grain of salt. I don't know your individual situation, so bear with me and forgive. So I'm just giving general advice. But I want to tell you guys, I'm going to start off right from the top. What if it was somebody who murdered a family member of yours? Do you have the right to not forgive them and actually take them to court? And of course you do. So this is in Sunan Abi Dawud, and it's Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu reported. I never saw like a legal case involving legal retaliation. So this is a legal case, the guardian of, the retaliation. I've never seen a case come to the Prophet ﷺ, being referred to the Prophet, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, except that he would recommend pardoning the criminal. So even in legal cases, with legal retribution, legal retaliation, the Prophet ﷺ would recommend the wakil, the owner who owns the retaliation, to pardon the criminal. So for example, a man came to the Prophet ﷺ with somebody who killed a relative of his, and the Prophet ﷺ told him, forgive him, pardon him. And the man refused. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, take the blood money. And the man refused. And this last part you might not understand, but the Prophet ﷺ said, fine, go and kill him because you're just like him. And then the man said, and so the man let and forgave that murderer of his family members. This is in Sunan Nasa'i, graded as Sahih. So the reason that I'm telling you this is that even levels of, because I always try to, when people come to me to ask a question, I like to know how serious is the issue. So you might be asking about questions like, well, I got a mother-in-law and she was really mean to me and I don't know if I can forgive her, right? And we're talking about murder of a family member, and I don't think that's what you guys are talking about. So bear with me. So now to your question, Bushra, what if you forgive someone and that person does that same thing again? So you can forgive somebody, but at the same time, you're not necessarily going to be bitten from the same snake hole twice. So let's suppose this person, you shared some secrets with them and then they went and exposed those secrets. So you might say, hey, I forgive you, but I'm never going to share secrets with you again. I don't know what the case is, but that might be something that you want to look into. And that is not being bitten by the same snake again. So that actually happened to me once. This person, I was doing a class and they went online publicly and they insulted me and they encouraged people not to take my class. So I had a discussion with this person and I said nice things to the person, stuff like that. And then they went and took what I said and posted it on Facebook. They said, Muhammad Ashraf said such and such. I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to you privately. And this person actually took one of the worst parts of the things that I said. I always say nice things, by the way, and posted it online. So then I said to this person, you know what? You will always be my brother, but you will never be my friend. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to meet with you, anything like that. You're going to be my brother, but I'll never be your friend. So that was me learning my lesson. I don't want to, deal with you anymore, but you're always my brother for the sake of Allah. I make dua for you. Allah guide you. If you see me in the street, I will say salam to you. If you pass away, I will attend your janazah. If your children are going to have a walima, I will attend the walima. All of the rights of a brother, of a believer to another believer, but you're never my friends. Bye. Next. Mr. J. Next question. And I actually was able to open it on another screen now. Let me see if I can get the questions here. Question. And it is live. It's going to give you a double sound in a second. Unless I mute it. Okay, then. One moment. I'm just opening this on another screen so I can read your questions comfortably. Another believer, but you never. Okay, great. And we are in business. Jay's question says, so I rid most toxic people out of my life. Sorry, I have to look down. I don't want to look down. I want to look at the camera when I'm reading, but what can you do? So I rid most toxic people out of my life, but what about siblings who seem to be good-hearted but are very mentally unstable, i.e. name-calling, putting down, and living in paranoia? Islamically, we can't cut off, right? But I am distancing myself from mental stability. What do I do? So Jay, if you're talking, so you have siblings, right? Brother, sister, you say they put people down and they live in paranoia. I don't know about the living in paranoia, but let's address the part about name-calling. What if you have a brother or sister that's always calling you names and you can't get rid of them? And that's not necessarily just sibling, could be husband, wife, could be just somebody generally that their tongue just goes out. So this is the attitude that I'd like to approach. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but this is the attitude that I would like to implement. And that is this: show them an example of how you would like to be treated by the way you treat them. Show them an example of how you want to be treated by the way you treat them. So that means if this person says, hey, you moron, wake up, and you respond by saying, hey, my beautiful sister, you look wonderful today. And then it's really hard, like he says, it takes two hands to clap. It's really hard to for a flame to get bigger and bigger if there's no oxygen, if there's no wood, if there's no air to inflame it. The problem is that when somebody starts throwing out hurtful things, we respond, and then it just goes back and forth. And unfortunately, we think that we're angels and we don't do the same thing. But give that person a chance to point out your behavior. They'll say, "Hey, they call me names as well. They do this, that, and whatnot." So, bottom line is, have the attitude. I'm going to show my sibling an example of how I would like to be treated. Now, when you're talking about cutting somebody off, we don't want to cut people off. What I've been trying to emphasize here is we want to maintain ties of kinship, but you don't have to be their best buddy friends, right? So there's like 7 billion people in the world. How many buddy friends are you with 7 billion people? Very few. So you don't have to be buddy friends with people, but don't cut them off. So please understand the difference between cutting somebody off versus hey, I will fulfill ties of kinship, but you're just not my friend. Wallahu a'lam. Next question. Let's see who's up. Khadija, alaikum assalam. Asma, alaikum assalam. Fatima Hussein, you're asking a question. I don't understand what you're saying. Ask it again. This is the question, Fatima. Ask it again, or rewrite it. Wajiha's comment says, it's not easy to forget, especially if it has caused you a lot of pain, even though you want to forget and forgive, but the other party do not realize that they may have wronged the other person. How do you make that other person realize that they have caused pain? So first thing I see, Wajiha, is that this point that you say, how do you make the person realize that they cause pain? What I was talking about yesterday is, how do you forgive somebody who doesn't even care if you forgive them? What if you go to this person and say, you caused me a lot of pain, but I forgive you, and the person responds, I don't care. That's their response to you. That's crazy. And the other thing is, sometimes people are angry at somebody who's passed away. They're dead. They're dead. So they're still holding the poison. Then they're like, I'll never forget. The person who's doing that to somebody who's deceased, they're the only ones who are suffering. This person who's holding that I will not forget, they're the only ones suffering. That other person's dead. They've left. So this is the analogy that I gave for that is this situation the Prophet ﷺ said about a man in the previous generations who used to lend out money to people, and then when the time for bill collection would come, the Prophet ﷺ said this man would send out his bill collectors and tell them, go and collect money from such and such a person, and if they don't have the money, then forgive them, perhaps Allah will forgive us. And so the Prophet ﷺ said, and so Allah forgave that person. And so I tried to adopt that attitude, which is, whenever there's somebody who doesn't care if I forgive them, I'll say to myself, oh Allah, I forgive this person. Between me and you, oh Allah, I forgive this person so that perhaps you can forgive me. And so it can be my characteristic, and so that you can treat me in the same way, oh Allah. That's how I resolve dealing with people who don't care if I forgive them or not. Rubina says, you are funny. Thanks, Rubina. I try my best. Oyin Damola says, what if the person was family? How can you cut them if what they did was horrible? Can you cut them? Cut them. That has different meanings. Can you cut them? If what they did was horrible, how do you deal with it? So like I said, Oyin Damola, there's it depends on whether, Sorry, my brain crashed. It depends on what this person did. You said what they did was horrible. Is it something that like requires legal retaliation, or right? There's different situations, and sometimes, like you said, there's something very big. I don't think you want to cut them off, right? Because it's haram to cut somebody off. But instead, and let me give you the example of this. So, in the situation with Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and Aisha, and people spread rumors, one of the people who spread rumors against Aisha radiallahu anha was her cousin. And her cousin was somebody that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, her cousin was somebody that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu took care of, like financially. And so after it was known that Aisha radiallahu anha was innocent, then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I will cut off my nephew. I will cut off my nephew. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in the Quran, وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, let them pardon and let them overlook. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Would you not love for Allah to forgive you? Wallahu ghafurur rahim, and Allah is forgiving and merciful. And this ayah is meant, like this situation that was built up against Aisha, Quran was revealed in it. It was something incredibly horrible, and yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't cut them off. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Just like we want Allah to forgive us, then the same way we would forgive that family member. Like I said, it's not that you get bitten from the snake hole, you don't put your hand in the same snake hole, get bitten twice, but you don't cut them off. You just, maintain ties of kinship, but Fazih has a question. Is there an ayah in the Quran that says we should forgive and forget? So, Faziha, there's lots of ayat that speak about forgiveness. So the interesting thing about forgiveness is that, the interesting thing about forget, we usually don't forget things when it's unresolved. If something is unresolved, then the pain stays with us. So even when people say, I'll forgive and I won't forget, that's kind of bakwas. Because the reason that they haven't forgotten is because the forgiveness hasn't happened. What usually happens is that once you forgive, then the forget comes along with it. It's almost like when you forgive somebody, you're the one who benefits from it. When you're angry at somebody, I'd say it like this. So somebody was a jerk. They were a jerk and they're making you mad. And late at night you spend, you're boiling at night, you keep thinking about them. What I would say to this person is, look, that person that you think is a jerk, they own a property in your brain. I need you to evict them. So don't let them hurt you in your head. You need to evict them. And how you evict them is you forgive them. Let them go out. Now, forgive them. Maybe they don't care about forgiveness, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we forgive them so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can treat us with forgiveness. The benefit will come to you. They leave and are evicted from your brain, and you move on with your life, and it is what it is. Yeah. And if the person really did harm to you, so I'm just saying, like, forgiveness, maybe it's you just leave it in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, such as kama tadinu tudan. We will be treated the way we treat others. So let's suppose I know somebody, the person that I'm thinking of right now is somebody who goes around frauding people for thousands of dollars. And this is like some fraud thing that's been going on for a long time, and so many people are involved and stuff like that. And I think of this person, and it's a Muslim person. And then, so I dealt with this person, got my money back, and then I wondered to myself, I don't want this person to sit in my brain. So I've forgiven them. I think of this person's family. This person's married. This person has children. I think of their family, and that humanizes the person for me. That's on one side. And the other side is, I think to myself, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect. I don't wish bad for this person, but when somebody deals, cheats people, they will be treated the way that they treat others. So if they've humiliated people, they will be humiliated. If they cheat people, they will be cheated. The same thing will come back to them. And so I know that they will get their reward, quote unquote, reward for what they do, and they need to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then that also allows me to let go of the situation or the person. Nurin, you're saying, didn't that incident cause you a lot of pain, depression, and time wasting? How do you deal with it afterwards? Nurin, I actually don't remember which situation you're talking about. So, I forget. But there's lots of things that cause pain and time wasting. How do you deal with it afterwards? Dealing with something, if there's something that's like bothering you and you've delayed it for so long, here's the thing, you know what, when there is somebody that's bothering me or some situation that's bothering, what I do is I take it as an opportunity to try to practice what I preach. And so I'll say, hey, I've been telling everybody forgive and forget, and I have all these techniques, mental health techniques and whatnot. Let me see if these techniques work in the real world now that I'm angry and dealing with this person. And yeah. So I take it as a challenge to use my tools. Rabina says, can you say that to your relatives? You are never my friends, but I forgive you, and can I stay away from them? So Rabina, I didn't say cut them off. And staying away from somebody sounds a little like cutting off. Meaning like, don't come to my house, I'm not coming to your house, whatnot. It's more of, you're just not actively trying to become their friend. And this person that I told that, you know what, you'll always be my brother, but you'll never be my friend, he wasn't my relative. He wasn't my blood relative, just a random person. I think that saying that to somebody, saying that to like a blood sister or brother, like, hey, you're never going to be my friend, that's kind of intense. And I don't think that's respectful. So instead, just, you know what, you just have that attitude, which is, hey, you know what, you'll always be my brother, you'll always be my sister, but we're just not going to be friends, and there's not a problem. You have your life, I have mine. Next question. What if it's you who don't forget or forgive yourself? Interesting. What if it's you who don't forget or forgive yourself? So you're basically, you committed some incident, like let's suppose, random. I need to give examples for myself so I understand what's going on. So this question from Red Cherry says, let's suppose you treated somebody badly. Yeah, let's suppose you cheated a business partner, okay? And then you don't forget and you don't forgive yourself. So what should you do? You should make amends. So you do tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You make amends if you hurt somebody in the real world. Ask for their forgiveness. Maybe if you took money from them, you try to return the money. Maybe they've gone on and that's too late or something like that. So you try to make amends with that human, and you make amends between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you've done all those things and then you're not, like, you keep guilting yourself, so there will be a benefit that you're getting. This is getting a little deep, but usually you won't let go because you're benefiting in some way. You're benefiting in some way. I don't know what that benefit is. Maybe journaling or being with a coach or a therapist will help you get to the bottom of what benefit you get from holding on to the pain. And then once you see that, what is the benefit that you're getting by holding on to guilt or holding on to pain, then you can maybe properly address it. Nasinga's question, Wallahu alam. Nasinga's question, when somebody has been harmed repeatedly by another, should they forgive and demand or request an apology? So just because, I'm saying from my side, one of the problems is when like, think of a car and the keys to the car. For mental health reasons and if you give the keys to the car to somebody else. So you tell them like, I'm not going to feel better until you apologize. So this, and what if the person says, no, I'm not going to apologize. So you've made it almost like, you know what, like, it's like you're not in control. So I would wish that your rule is something like to the effect of, you know, whether you apologize or not, this is over for me, or this situation, or I learned my lesson, or whatever it is, the situation is over for me. If you apologize, that's great, and I would love it. But if you don't apologize, I'm in control of my emotions. So I keep trying to come back to, and sorry, this is like a footnote about blame. One of the problems with blaming is that it takes power away from you. So when you blame someone, so it says, like, you know what, I didn't get my degree because, you know, my husband is always running around doing his own thing and it's all his fault. So one of the problems with blaming is that it takes away your power. And kind of like what you're asking is when you're requesting, hey, you need to give me an apologize, it takes away your power. If they apologize, that's great. If they don't apologize, you always want to bring it back that my emotions are in my control based on, you know, rules that that I decide. Laura. Welcome, Louisana. Shazard says, what if you leave it in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What if you leave it in the hands of Allah? So I think what you're talking about is, hey, you want retribution, but you say to yourself, you know what, I don't forgive this person, but I leave it in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I would add to yours, Shazard, I would say, why don't you do this? That I want my character to always be that I forgive people so that Allah will forgive me, even if they don't care if I forgive them. And I leave their affairs to Allah. If Allah wants to forgive them, alhamdulillah. If Allah doesn't want to forgive them, then, you know, that's between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I would wish, Shazad, that you would add the part about that make it your character to forgive people so that Allah will forgive you. Because there will come times in your life, this is the problem, because we all receive pain and we give pain. Like, it's not like everybody here on this session is the one receiving pain. We all give and receive. And so if we always make it our attitude to not forgive people, then we will come across people in our lives who will treat us in the same way and they will not forgive us. So it goes both ways. So I would say, hey, I want to forgive this person who I actually don't like, but maybe down the road I will harm somebody else and I would wish for them to forgive me. So that's what I'm saying. So you're asking for forgiveness so that Allah forgive you, and you're forgiving people so that inshallah ta'ala you will be treated in the same manner. This comes in response to Ibn Sirin rahimahullah. If you read his biography, there's a lot of great scholars over the centuries, and they say and a lot of scholars, people would backbite on them and write refutations and say really bad things. But they say Ibn Sirin, rahimahullah, never used to say bad things about anybody. And they say that his legacy almost was people didn't say bad things about him as well. So it's like he was treated the way he treated other people, rahimahullah. Take that with a grain of salt. Bushra says, children are our best example to forgive and forget. We should learn from them. Exactly. You know what I love about children, maybe really young children, is they forget. Like, you can have a baby that's so mad at you. You took their toy and they hate your guts. And then 30 seconds later, there's like, hey, let's be friends again. So memory. Yes. Okay, we'll end at half an hour after the hour, inshallah ta'ala. I know there's some bigger questions coming up down the road, and it's been awesome, but I don't want to hold you guys too long. This is from Louisana. Did you answer my question from yesterday? What happens when you know you owe an apology to somebody, but they are inaccessible or unapproachable? How do you live with wanting to ask, but not having the opportunity? So I think you know better what inaccessible and unapproachable means. Unapproachable might be like, hey, you know what, they're not... So inaccessible, if you sent them an email, would they be inaccessible, or you don't know their email? If you wrote them a letter, a snail mail letter, and no return address or anything like that, and you just wrote an apology, would that be a problem? Because you're saying they're inaccessible and unapproachable, and I'm thinking of some thriller novels where somebody falls off the grid and you cannot find them anymore. I don't think that's what you're talking about. You're just saying that this is somebody who's kind of like cold-shouldered, and you haven't been speaking to them for a long time and whatnot. If you know their address, why not write them a letter from the heart and just send it, and then that's it. So between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you wrote the letter and you sent it off, and khalas. So that's what I recommend. It says, how do you live with wanting to ask but not having the opportunity? I think you have the opportunity. It just might be you might be scared to do it. All right, folks, we are done. I apologize if anybody, if there's any continued questions. Inshallah ta'ala, it's been great. I don't like to keep these too long, so inshallah ta'ala, maybe in the future we'll also have some nice Q&A sessions here and there. Tell your friends about the Mass Daily Huddle. Visionary Ramadan is coming up soon. Check it out, visionaryramadan.com. This is a program that I've been doing in Ramadan for like the last 7 years, consistently, year after year after year. I go into isolation to teach this class, and this year we're all in isolation to take Visionary Ramadan, inshallah ta'ala. All right, check it out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.